Hello, this is Jagadisha, online real life guide. You can find more of me on Instagram at mind.fully.applied. And this is the All Love podcast.
I'm Rainey Martin. I'm a life coach based in Montana, but I work with people all over the world via Zoom, and I can be reached at coachrainey.com.
And this is us bringing you all of the love. Today's free share is on the topic of how does it help to be detached from a sense of joy? How the heck does it help me to be detached from a sense of joy? Come on, really now.
Are you quoting someone,
I'm quoting someone that I know and dearly love.
So I have a recollection that I said this in one of our past podcasts. How does it help me to feel disconnected from joy? Right. And you apparently have the answer.
I have an answer that seems to come up through me when I ask myself the same question
Hmm.
repeatedly. Repeatedly. There's something important about this repeatedly. All right. The first thing I would like to say about it, that I would like to put out there, is this is a process. So when we're talking about a process versus an achievement, we've already begun to change how we see and therefore experience joy. So the detachment is really about just this, seeing it as a process. That's that's really and the word detachment is kind of a nuanced word at this point in history, a very nuanced word. In fact, it's the primary word that has in modern times it has become um, most useful and widespread because it's useful. So we're not talking about disassociation, right? We're not talking about rejection. uh, we are talking about detachment in joy. So I can be in the joy and still be detached from it. I don't, that's like knowing that I don't own it. It's not mine. Knowing that it's a process and that it's a universal process.
It's not mine.
Mm, mm. How do you like the flavor of that?
I'm not sure. Are
Mm.
not are all emotions not ours?
Um, so I'm gonna ask you to refrain from the exclusivity of that question. Can you reframe that question where uh it's not a yes or a no, and it's not one or the other. In other words, it's not exclusive, it's actually inclusive.
For instance,
Well, let's do it together. So say your question again, please.
are all emotions not ours?
Are all emotions not ours?
So you're saying something like, do all emotions lack attachment? But wrong, different use of the word attachment. Possession.
Mm.
Are all emotions, hmm, it's not good.
Are all emotions universal?
No, because I mean that wasn't what it sounded to me like you were saying. Like you were saying, I don't own joy, but don't I own my own joy?
Hmm. Okay, here's the reframed question. In what ways do you own your own joy?
I can nurture it, I can cultivate it, I can invite it, I can savor it, I can share
Bingo.
it.
Bingo. Okay, so let's just embrace that you know this. You know how you own your own joy.
Hmm.
Is it possible to also know that joy is a universal sensation?
Sure. I mean,
Okay.
that's not as alarming as what you said initially.
Oh, thank God. Yeah. And there's a there's a play going on here, and the play is around responsibility, right? So this is a balancing act. And that's part of what I mean when I say process. So the detachment word that seems kind of like a hot button on this topic, right? Because why would I ever want to stop feeling joyful? The fact of the matter is we do. We stop feeling joyful. And and there is something in there that we're not aware of where we actually are detaching from the joy. And so really this is beckoning awareness. Can we be aware of our actual detachment from joy? And the answer is yes. And that feels more appealing when I can just say, oh, joy is universal. And also including this one feels so good. So I'm feeling a sense of universal joy. Can I somehow know that? Yes, only from a place that's kind of once removed from right here. I have to kind of see myself from outside of myself to be in awareness and consciousness of the moment of joy around this is a shared experience. Joy is not just about me.
Hmm. So it's not so much that I don't own it as that it's not just about me.
Ownership is a worldly concept. Universality is a spiritual concept. So, universal love is another place where we get hooked in here. Same kind of way, because falling in love feels so good. It feels joyous. Universal love is different somehow than falling in love, isn't it?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. But if I can, while I'm falling in love, what if I can detach from that experience to see while I'm having the experience in the process, I can also see how love is universal, pervading all, everything, not just me and this other person or me in this experience that I am having, even with this other person present. But if I can, you can also call it expansion. I can imagine a camera lens can zoom out and, oh, this is also, I am included in universal love. And that's what I'm reminded of when I fall in love.
Which is really infrequent.
Yeah, it's not the norm. It's not the norm to my understanding. I'm just another human having these experiences too. Everything that I'm every person that I'm talking to about this which I'm so grateful that they would trust me to relate this because this is really an intimate topic. Every single person says the same. It's really infrequent that I feel that I am part of universal love. Our
Right.
go-to, I posted something about a month ago and I commented on my own post because nobody liked it. So I liked it. And then I commented, I kind of knew that was going to happen at the beginning. I think it was on Instagram and it said something like, it's been statistically proven that we we have like the memory of painful incidents is 4 times more recurrent than any memory of a, a joyful one.
Yes.
You
Right. Like this is true in customer service. Like a customer will remember the a bad experience and tell 10 people, and they'll either not remember a good experience or only tell 3 people about a good experience. Similar.
yes,
Possibly tangential, though.
it's the exact same thing. We're all remembering our pain, and here's the good or maybe the beneficial. We could just totally be uh, detached from it and say, here's the ultimate outcome. Uh, Another word for this is the absolute. Another word for the absolute is the divine. So
Mm-hmm.
the spiritual viewpoint. However, we want to talk about it, it's the all encompassing big picture. Um, it's not the only picture. And it's definitely not the only picture that matters. Falling in love is very important for me to know that I am part of universal love.
Yeah.
It's very important. It's not like I'm setting down one to pick up the other exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the reason for the statement. Like, even in joy, can I use my skill of detachment and see myself just back away and see myself as part of universal love, even as I'm falling in love. It's not only is it all inclusive, here's what being all inclusive does is it just sort of amplifies because we're able to get a little taste maybe every so often of the intensity to which or the degree to which love is in everything. Love is what makes everything.
Every so often.
Every so often we get a taste of it. It's
Right.
not that the love isn't there in some things. And
But-
yet this is the
oh,
problem we're always trying to solve.
right. Because it's there all
It's
the time in all
there
things,
all the time.
but it's our
But
inability to connect with it.
yeah, and so the detaching, the act of detaching, which is it's an internal action. So again, hard for us to grasp. It's not like I can take it and write it or draw it. I have it's just this mental, not the brain, but the mind. Not the brain, but the mind, which the brain plays a part in.
Yes.
So I can use it. I can use it. It's possible, but I don't want to very much to detach from the joy because what I usually think when I get some joy is, oh my God, don't take it away. Don't let it stop, which instantaneously actually decreases the joy.
Or sometimes I feel like, oh, right, this is what it's all supposed to feel like. And I don't have a need to try to hold on to it or not want it to go away because I actually remember the the true nature of things. But then I sort of get shocked when it does go away. And I feel this tremendous longing and sadness.
Yes. And this is how we got to this point before, which was okay, we're all good with detaching from the sadness. And yet we just had a whole conversation about, but most of the time we're not in joy, much less in a place of being willing to detach from joy so that we can align with what it truly is, with its true universality. And its universality isn't that it's necessarily what I feel 24/7. The universality is that everyone gets to feel this at some point. That's the detachment. And yes, I know I will feel sadness again too. I will feel anger again too. And I came for the whole package. And so there can be this never-ending sense of expansiveness.
I came for the whole package. But did I?
Mm,
I mean,
that
was
even
this
better
an
question.
agreement? Was this an agreement that I participated in?
Mm. Yeah, I think that there are moments during my day when I say, no way, this isn't what I came for.
Like the books by Dolores Cannon, right? The one the
Mm,
about I can't remember what it's called, but it's about the people who were actually from other stars and
mm,
systems that agreed to come to Earth, right? To try to raise the
mm.
frequency or whatever, help.
Yeah.
But
In Buddhism, it's called bodhisattva.
perfect. But as I recall from her book or this book, this really thick one, right? A lot of those beings, when they get here, they are shocked by the violence and the depravity, really, of our society, and and realize that this was not what they bargained for. I feel like that's me. This is not
Absolutely.
what I bargained for.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could not have known. You could not have known what you were signing up for. In other words, in order for us to have true free will, it has to be unknown so that we can make the choice as these limited beings that we took on literally the skin and organs of to live in limitation so that we could have the sensation of choosing.
Mhm.
And it all works out in this practice of detachment when we can because detachment is to universalize and to implement gratitude regardless.
Hmm.
I be as grateful for the sadness as I am for the joy.
Hmm. Like Job.
Yeah. But Job went through a lot.
Yes, exactly my
Job went
point.
through. Yeah. Yeah. May we all be like Job. and and there is true pain in that story and in each one of our stories, and also very authentic expansiveness that can be recognized. Your true nature, your heart is unconditionally open and free. unconditionally. And so this makes it safe for me to detach even from joy, to take a step back, to be willing to, and just say, oh, yes, and I could breathe even deeper. My lungs can hold even more air. I thought falling in love was the ultimate. Sometimes I still think that. And I'll probably make many, many more actions in this lifetime based on that idea,
Yeah.
because each one of those will be an opportunity to take a little bit deeper breath in, to step back and say, and yes, and
Yes, and
yes, and isn't it wonderful that anybody could feel this and that I can share it? There are ways that I can share it. And that's the crucial um, im- implementation of the action of detaching.
I think it's funny to say, but it's intellectually you can understand and relate and even be awed by this idea that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, right? And
Yeah.
enjoying the physical experience, both good and bad. But when it comes down to like being miserable or terrified or any of the negative emotions and trying to remind yourself, what did you say? I signed up for this, right? I signed up for all of it. It's another story.
Yeah, I'm still alive. Apparently, there's a commitment here. There's a response ability. I have these abilities. Do I choose to use them to apply to this in a way that I know brings ultimate peace? Or do I choose to just get the joy now and gobble it down and out of fear of losing it,
You know,
kind of strangle?
we should invite people to send us questions
Yes, in the comments.
in the comments. Well, when we start doing it live, we'll open up comments.
You want to have a, I just did get a business phone line added to my account, so we could take live calls.
This is this is 2024. We don't have to take any calls. It's
Oh,
just gonna be like this streaming chat on the side of the screen, and we can look at it and see what kind of
oh.
questions people are asking. Yeah.
But I do like the idea of having like a phone with a curly cord on it
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
can hold like
You
this.
are dating us again.
I'd like to do it at least once before we sign off every time.
Those phones don't
It's,
exist anymore. All right, we have to wrap up. Uh, very illuminating and stimulating, and in some ways discouraging.
yeah, we work for what we're willing to work for,
Hmm.
and that's based on what's worth it to us
At any given time.
at any given moment. Yes, at any given moment. And we're signing off here with all the love to all of you.
Amen.